Welcome to Annapolis Mosaics. Our program spotlights people in our city who are involved in activities designed to promote good human relations. I am Michael Keller, the chair of the Annapolis Human Relations Commission and your host. The commission is a city board that seeks to promote equal opportunity and to eliminate discrimination. My guests today are June Caudill, who is the president of the Anne Arundel Medical Center Auxiliary, and Don Jump, who is the executive assistant of this organization. Welcome to Annapolis Mosaics.
Hi, nice to be here. Thank you.
Certainly. Well, let's begin by sharing with our viewers what the auxiliary is, what's its history, and why it was established.
Well, it started 67 years ago in 1944 when the hospital was over on Franklin Street, and it continues today serving the members of the community as well as the hospital staff by aiding and providing services that we, through the various activities of the hospital, supplement the staff of the hospital. Many of the activities that we have are fundraising for the hospital. The gift shops, as June will proudly talk about our gift shops, as well as our clothes box, as
consignment shop,
and which is our
very
consignment
popular,
shop.
very popular.
Right.
And we also are considered the non-medical extension to the staff, going in and having patient interactions, working at information desks. You will find us throughout the entire campus of the hospital in over 30 different services. We are 700 volunteers strong, and we're a very organized organization. I'm being president, obviously, but we have 3 vice presidents that are in charge of 3 different areas of service. And we recruit volunteers every month. The 3rd Thursday of the month, we have what is called a volunteer information session, and we invite anyone who's interested in being a volunteer to come. We have one in the morning and one in the afternoon session, and we give a big overview of all the different areas and what the hospital is doing for the community. We have outreach services as well. We have the Stanton Center we're very proud of, and we also have a new community health center on Riva Road that just opened in January. And we're very proud of these community health centers reaching out to the community, to the needy. We will also have another one in the Fort Meade area that is going to be opening up in 2012.
Well, let's talk about some of these areas in specific. You mentioned that you've got more than 30 services that the auxiliaries provide. Again, all of you are volunteers.
Yes.
And I think it's important for our viewers to note. You're talking about, she mentioned this, 700 strong, 700 people volunteer their time and their work in support of the efforts of the Anne Arundel Medical Center. So it's a really expansive number here, and you said more than 30 services that are provided. Let's just talk in some depth about some of these. And you mentioned some, and let's just touch base on them. I think the thing that many of our viewers are going to be interested in knowing is, well, how does the auxiliary touch the patient experience at the Anne Arundel Medical Center? Obviously, your patients are your center. That's your key, your key customer. Talk a little bit about the role of the auxiliary volunteers as it impacts the patient experience at the medical center.
Well, the clinical volunteer, meaning a volunteer who works directly with patients, going directly in the patient rooms, working with the nurses and doctors and staff, physically goes into the rooms and asks what they can do for that patient that day. we can bring any supplies, or if they would like something to drink, they would like conversation, family involved. We just offer our assistance in that manner. We're in different areas such as the emergency department, which is a very busy area, and we do everything from initial contact, running the errands, helping with discharges, with wheelchairs, helping them out when they're going home. So we're very close to the patients in that manner. I tell the volunteers that no matter where you're working in the hospital, you're impacting our patients, their families, and our visitors. Even if you're working in one of our gift shops or the information desk, people are coming up to us and we're interacting with them. So.
You're absolutely right. The patient is our customer. The patient is our first concern. For the volunteer, the family of the patient is so very important. And as we modify the model of care that the hospital provides, we're looking now to the volunteer to be the family facilitator, to work with the family and to give them the kind of comfort that they need to be assured that their patient is receiving the care that they should receive. One of the things that we see today is that all across this country, family-centered care is very important. It's reached us here in Annapolis at the Anne Arundel Medical Center as we look at family-centered care. That means that, yes, we have the technical knowledge to be able to say what's best for the patient. But who knows the patient the best? The family member. So together, the technical information and the family can partner to produce that positive patient outcome that we're all looking for our patients here in Annapolis. This family-centered care is a fast-growing initiative in medical facilities all across the nation. So we're very fortunate to have that here in Annapolis.
Yes, we're actually not going to have any visiting hours restrictions anymore. Family members have access to their family member, the patient, 24/7 if they would like to, because we feel that they're helpful, it relieves the anxiety, and that there's a positive outcome if the patient can have their family around them. And the family wants to be there. It's not fun at 8 o'clock to be told that now's the time to go. So we're very happy to have this family-centered care. We feel that it's very positive, and it really helps our patients a lot and our families.
Well, that sounds to me like a very good initiative and one that will be very popular. Let's talk a little bit about the role that the auxiliary volunteers play in terms of their collaboration with the nursing staff. I know that you have a lot of interaction with the nursing staff and do work with the nursing staff. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, we're partners. We are partners. We work together in the best interest of the patient, having knowledge of every individual situation, going in and making sure we're on the same, now I'm going to flub up right here, the same wavelength, the same wavelength, so that we can give the best possible care. Everyone is different, so if we can work together to ensure that this patient is taken care of in a very positive way. So we are in direct contact with the nurses, we collaborate, and we give, the volunteers can give more time than the nurses can at times, even though they would like to. We can just give the time, sit there and talk with them. Our patients are very fascinating. They can tell you about their travels and about Annapolis many years ago. And it just becomes a very comfortable place for the patient and for the volunteer as well.
And the sharing of knowledge between the volunteer and the nursing staff. The nursing staff wants to know, what are your observations as you enter the patient's rooms? What have you noticed that maybe the other staff and the nurse itself might have missed? One of the key objectives for June and her presidency has been expanded communications between the staff and the volunteer. We see that already in her reign as president within the auxiliary, and we know that our strategic plan that we've developed for next year will have even more communications than we currently have. So we're pleased to be able to do that and to participate with the staff.
You'd mentioned that the operation of the gift shop and the consignment shops also fall under the purview of the volunteer auxiliary.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what the volunteers do in that and what role those facilities at Anne Arundel Medical Center play.
Our gift shops, we have 3 gift shops that we're very proud of. They're absolutely wonderful, and it is for the patients, their families, and our staff. The volunteers are working in there. They are assisting the people who come in to buy things in the gift shops, as well as helping to help design and set up. And we have a paid manager who's wonderful. Her name is Carrie Downs, and we're very proud of her running 3 gift shops, but all the rest of the workers are volunteers in our gift shops. In our consignment shop as well, we accept donations as well as consigned items, from clothing to housewares, and they are also very successful. Mara Kohlhaver is our manager, paid manager, and all of the rest of the volunteers working in there work very hard, and they're very successful. The monies that are raised through our gift shops and our consignment shop all go directly to the hospital, to Anne Arundel Medical Center. Right now, the auxiliary has a $3.5 million pledge that we have worked very hard to give money back to the hospital. So fundraising is very important. So our gift shops and consignment shop have a large role. The auxiliary also has vendor sales. Once a month we have a different, it could be handbags or jewelry. We have a book sale coming up soon, and once a month we have these sales, and the proceeds, the profits also go back to the hospital.
You had mentioned that you work in collaboration with the Stanton Community Center. Obviously that is a city facility, so that's something that I think our viewers would be interested in knowing. What's the relationship there?
The Stanton Center is Anne Arundel Medical Center facility.
Okay.
It is all volunteers who work there. The doctors volunteer, the nurses volunteer, and we have auxiliary volunteers who work in a more of a clerical and a translator position. But the impact in the community and giving service is so rewarding that the second community health center was developed, and we anticipate that there will be many more, that those are just a model to many more that are coming. But the Stanton Center is highly successful, and we are very proud of the relationship with Anne Arundel Medical Center, helping out with those who require the medical and dental needs in the area.
Part of our 700 volunteers are located at our Kent Island facility on the Eastern Shore. That facility, located in Queen Anne's County, serves as an urgent need care center, and our volunteers there greet the patients as they arrive and direct them to the appropriate areas, and they staff the front desk at that facility. And so we're pleased to have an expanded role in that area as well.
We're going to take a break now, but when we return, I will be talking to my guests a little bit more about the specifics of the volunteers who take part in the auxiliary at Anne Arundel Medical Center.
Thank you.
We've been talking today with June Caudill and with Don Jump, who are members of the auxiliary at Anne Arundel Medical Center. June is the president and Don is her executive assistant. With respect to the auxiliary volunteers, you mentioned that there are some in the neighborhood of 700 volunteers that actually take part. Do you have any statistics about the number of volunteers in terms of the number of hours that they actually log on each year?
Yes, actually for 2010, we had 138,000 hours that the volunteers give to Anne Arundel Medical Center. This is a large number, but it also impacts the hospital. We report that to the Board of Trustees of the hospital, and they are able to calculate how many paid staff hours. I believe that would come to about 76 full-time paid employees. It's the equivalency of. So we are quite a labor force to the hospital.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's my understanding that the auxiliary volunteers are very diverse in terms of their age, their education, their profession. Can you share a little bit about the background of those 700 auxiliary volunteers? Obviously, not everyone, but just give our viewers a sense of the range of ages and talents and backgrounds that are served by their work.
We have volunteers actually from high school and college students on up to retired volunteers, retired people in the community who have come to volunteer. Our oldest volunteer at the moment is 95 years old, and we had two sisters who were over 100 that were still actively volunteering in the hospital. The backgrounds are from stay-at-home moms who want to give back to the community and who have time when children are in the schools, to retired people. We have unemployed people in the community who want to give back to the community, who are finding that they have the extra time to come in and volunteer. We also have pets who are volunteers. We have a Pets on Wheels program and Fidos for Freedom, and the dogs and their owners are actually processed through the auxiliary. So they go up and they cheer up our patients. We have Reiki volunteers who go in and interact with the patients. So
tell our viewers what Reiki is.
Reiki is Reiki is it's hard to explain.
Okay. Well, you can go on.
Yeah. But Reiki, it kind of calms their anxieties. It gives them kind of a energy to make them more receptive to their treatment in the hospital.
So with the diverse background of folks that join us, of course the hospital is open 7 days a week, and 7 days a week the men and women of the auxiliary arrive at the doors of the hospital to begin to perform the various services that we provide. Their backgrounds, yes, from retired government employees, retired teachers, as June mentioned, young people that are in high school and into college are giving back to their community here in Annapolis, Maryland. It's the bright side. It's the side that you get in your car when you go home at the end of your shift and you realize that really you've gotten so much more back than you could have possibly given to the individuals that are there.
Mm-hmm. What's the range of hours that the volunteers are asked to work? What are their shifts like? Do they have, I presume, specifically assigned shifts and the like?
Minimally, we ask for 4 hours a week. You are certainly welcome to add to that after you have been with the auxiliary for about 3 months. Many of our volunteers will add another service because they find what they are doing so rewarding that they would like to either give extra time on the service they're already working in or go to another service. So if they're working up on the joint and spine, working with the patients, they may want to work in a gift shop or the emergency department, clinical floors, working with patients. So they minimally give 4 hours a week, but you can give as much time as you can.
Well, how do you determine what their assignments are?
That is determined when they initially come to our volunteer information session. They fill out an application and there's many areas of interest. If you would like information, if you have clerical interests, patient interaction, and what their background. Are they from computer, financial, marketing? What is their background and their interests? So then after we have this information session, they get a one-on-one orientation with our volunteer placement service, and then it is then determined, negotiated as to what service they would like to work in. If they enjoy it, that's wonderful, and they usually stay for a long time. If they would like to add, they have several interests, then they can add on to it. But all the information of all the different areas are explained. So they have their choice of where they would like to volunteer and work in the hospital.
A typical shift would be from 9 to 12:30, or then an afternoon shift from 12:30 to 4, and then we have a twilight shift in some services that we offer for evenings where people can come and work in the evenings with us. Today we find more and more people who are working a full-time job and want to give back to the community as well. So they arrive on Saturdays or on Sunday or for the twilight shift where they'll come in the evening and work one evening a week to have those.
You mentioned that they get an orientation session. Do you provide actual training for some or all of the volunteers before they begin their duties?
Absolutely. It ranges from 1 to 4 or 5 different trainings, depending on how complex or involved the service is. Working in the gift shops, and they're working with several other volunteers, they kind of work together. And they learn very quickly, and the training is not quite as extensive in the beginning. It's very easy to catch on and to work on in our women's and children's services. We have 3 different floors in the Klattenoff Pavilion, and each of the floors is different. Working in our NICU unit and working with mothers, it takes a lot of education and training to understand the different type of patients and what the needs may be. So you are trained by the chairperson of your service, and we stay with you until you are comfortable to do your service on your own.
It's my understanding you've got an associate volunteer program too, correct?
We do.
Tell us about that.
Yes, we have an associate program, and we have volunteers who will leave the service, can no longer come in and give their physical services to the hospital, but they remain on our files, and we have associates who will pay us dues, $25 a year, to remain involved with the hospital and with the auxiliary. We keep information, we send them information. We have a quarterly newsletter. It's the Beacon that goes out to them. They do still get invited to our awards, luncheons, and we have general membership meetings and luncheons, and we do keep in contact with them.
With a large number of volunteers that you have, and then matching it against the fact you've got more than 30 different services throughout the hospital, one gets the sense that you are constantly in search for additional volunteers for the auxiliary at Anne Arundel Medical Center. Is that the case? And
Yes.
how do you react to that?
Absolutely. Although we're 700 strong, we keep expanding, and we are very innovative, and there are new services that are being developed all the time. We do have volunteers who resign, who have circumstances where they are either moving or taking care of grandchildren. So we do lose volunteers, so we need to maintain our volunteer force, but we are expanding. We have a brand new enlarged emergency department. We have 2 new floors in our new South Tower who have expanded. So we do need more volunteers to help with volunteering and with the auxiliary at the hospital.
And if my recollection is right, you said you had at least one volunteer who was over 90 years old?
We have a 95-year-old volunteer. Yes, we do.
What does she do, or he does?
Well, she is a past president of the auxiliary, and she works with the Women's and Children's program with the lactation department, and she helps put together projects and packets, and will help them with whatever their needs are. So she does come in once a week and for 4 hours, and she just loves it. We have a lot of very active volunteers who are well into their 80s and even early 90s working at the hospital. Well, they're such an inspiration.
That would suggest to me that there's nobody in the community who could not fruitfully serve as a volunteer with the Medical Center Auxiliary. 95 years old. Very, very impressive.
And I believe it also is very social. Coming in and working in the hospital and volunteering is rewarding in and of itself, but it also becomes very social. So friendships develop. We have groups of volunteers who will go out to dinner once a month. They will travel together. So it's become a very nice place to make friends as well.
Looking ahead a little bit to the future, what kinds of things would you envision for the auxiliary in the coming years at the hospital?
We envision, as technology and as family-centered care expands, that the role of the volunteer will become much more complex. Actually being able to assist in information, in being able to offer assistance in other areas, such as we are considering helping outside of the hospital, perhaps getting medications when a patient is being discharged to go home and doesn't have help, perhaps some of their needs to ensure that they're being taken care of at home. So we are constantly looking for innovative ways to expand the services, and we will need more volunteers to help us with that.
Okay, many of our viewers, I'm sure, will be interested in contacting you in terms of possibly becoming involved as an auxiliary with the Anne Arundel Medical Center. How can they get in touch with you?
They can call 443-481-5050, and that is the number of our secretary's desk at the Anne Arundel Medical Center Auxiliary Office. We have the volunteer information session the 3rd Thursday of every month, and they can call and let our secretary know what they are interested in coming. And they can also go to aamc.org, our hospital website, and there's information on volunteering in our hospital website.
Thank you for viewing our program today, and please join us again on Annapolis Mosaics. If you would like more information about the Annapolis Human Relations Commission, jot down the information that's on your screen. You can reach us at 410-263-7998 or by email at hrcommission@annapolis.gov. And you can check out our page at the City of Annapolis website, www.annapolis.gov. Just click on the icon on Boards and Commissions, and then scroll down to our page. And always remember the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who said, "We have flown the air like birds and swum the seas like fishes, but have yet to learn the simple act of walking the earth as brothers and sisters." Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much.
you.